Hello everyone, welcome back to BWS Academy Bangalore. This is the daily news analysis. Today we'll discuss some of the important articles from the Hindu newspaper and also Press Information Bureau and Indian Express and all the other newspapers. So the first article for 25th 9th September 2025 is from the front page of Hindu, which discusses about lay protest turning violent. I've already covered this Ladakh Leh issue in detail from the history to the current context in our topic of the day videos. You can go back and check that video. We'll provide the link in the description. So today we'll discuss the current context. So what happened? So Leh Ladakh saw major escalation of protest demanding statehood for the sixth or and sixth scheduled tribal status for the region. That is the Leh Ladakh region. Demonstration turned violent and BJP office was torched. Ladakh Hill Council premise was vandalized. CRPF vehicle was set on fire and 30 security personnel were injured. So, what was supposed to be a peaceful event or peaceful protest led by Sonam Wangchuk has turned into an violent protest. Next, police opened fire, leading to several deaths as well as many injured. So this looks like a similar thing that happened in Nepal, similar thing that is happening in Philippines, similar thing that happened recently in West Bengal and other things. So if you want to look about recent Arab Spring or Asian Arab Spring, I have also made a video on that. Link will be also provided in the description. You can watch the video. So what is the government stand in this one? Home Ministry statement was that it blamed activist Sonam Wangchuk's hunger strikes and provocative statements. References to Arab Spring and Gen Z protests were provided in this particular Sonam Wangchuk's hunger protest. Sonam Wangchuk talked about Ladakh needs Arab Spring or Ladakh needs Gen Z protest. So on this I already made the videos, but now a person from India is calling out for the Arab Spring and Gen Z protest in the recent remarks. So that is a thing which is threatening the security and sovereignty of India itself. So it is very grave. Next, claimed that protesters have become a mob that destroyed property and attacked police. The government also highlighted government concessions already were given that ST reservation was raised from 45% to 84% in the region, and 1/3 women reservations in the councils was provided, and recognition of Boti and Purgi languages in the Ladakh region, and also recruitment of 1800 posts are started already. So government has already done your like one of the demands. There are four demands. One is statehood, sixth schedule, and recognition of languages, and also one of the thing was increasing the post or recruitment to the post. So they've already met the two demands. Now you have to wait for further time for statehood. We have to analyze what can be done with respect to statehood. That is the stand from the government point of view. Ladakh LG, Lieutenant Governor Kavinder Gupta said that confirmed casualties imposed curfew and said police were initially equipped only with the batons. They thought it was a peaceful protest, so they were only equipped with batons, but the protest turned into violent. Protesters said hunger strike was led by Sonam Wangchuk since September 10. After elderly protest fell ill, youth from the age of 14 to 25 years surged into protest. Wangchuk later ended his fast, saying the youth lost patience with the peaceful methods. Violence was unplanned, that is, nobody thought it would explode like this, and protest saw a Gen Z frenzy where young demonstrators were not even afraid of bullets. They are not even afraid of bullets. And Gen Z frenzy, that is a phrase that was used during the Nepal protest, where Nepal protest or the Nepal revolution is called as a Gen Z revolution. So why does it matter? Ladakh's demand for statehood and the sixth schedule status has been a long-standing demand since the abrogation of Article 370, which removed Jammu and Kashmir of the statehood and bifurcated Jammu and Kashmir into J&K Union Territory and Ladakh Union Territory. Initially, the Ladakh Union Territory, people from Ladakh were happy because they were provided autonomy compared to sidelining by the Jammu and Kashmir, but now their demand of statehood has been ongoing since 2019. The violent turn could harden center stance while protesters may feel further alienated. The government framing Wangchuk as responsible adds a controversial activist versus state narrative as well. So we have to wait and see what will happen in the coming days. Whether the government is going to heed to the demands of the protesters or government is going to deal with it in a hard way. Next, Global South must work together, says S. Jaishankar. So the context is India hosted a meeting of the 20 Global South countries on the sidelines of United Nations General Assembly in the new act. Aim is strengthen cooperation and push for UN reforms. Next, Jaishankar's message was warned that multilateralism is under attack and international organizations are becoming ineffective and weapons of few countries. He urged the global south to act collectively to address global challenges. Key issues highlighted were he talked about pandemic, Ukraine and Gaza conflicts, climate change, trade uncertainty, food, fertilizer, and energy insecurity. All these things were highlighted and were discussed, and he called for cooperation in these issues. And the participation, countries mainly from the global south, such as Asia, Africa, and the Americas, attended. Only Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius joined from India's neighborhood. So you can see Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, and China didn't join this particular meeting. Next, sorry. So smaller group compared to India's Voice of Global South Summit, which happened in India in Delhi. So political backdrop is it remarks came after Donald Trump's UNGA speech, where he criticized United Nations and highlighted USA's funding cuts and withdrawals from UN bodies. And significance is India seeks to position itself as a leading voice of the global south and amid weakening global governance structures. So recently India was also under fire from the global south because India supported Russia, because India supported Israel in these conflicts. So their demand from the global south is to support the countries who are the sufferers, such as Ukraine and Palestine. And also India was seen as moving closer towards USA. As a result, India was losing that edge over the global south. But now, with the recent initiatives from the government of India, India is again raising itself as a voice of global south. Next, the third article is about center clears scheme to add medical seats. So, Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Modi, approved phase 3 of a centrally sponsored scheme to expand medical education. It is target is 5,000 PG plus 5,023 undergraduate seats by 28-29 in medical colleges. So you can see here improving conditions. The chart shows number of medical colleges in India over the years and number of MBBS seats they offer. So number of medical colleges is this one and number of seats. So in 2017 and 2018 there are 471 medical colleges, which increased to 648 medical colleges in 2023, and now in 25-26 there are 800 medical colleges. So almost doubled, you can see. And even in the numbers as well, seats from 62,000 to 96,000 to 1,23,000, almost doubled in the last 7 years. So in the last decade, over 69,352 seats have been added, registering a growth of 127%. So almost double growth has been there. So now again, with the addition of 500 plus PG and 523 plus UG, it is going to have another more number of seats as well as medical colleges again. Implementations, seats to be created by upgrading existing medical colleges, PG institutions, and government hospitals. And the cost ceiling is 1.5 crore per seat. That will be the cost implications from the government side for creating one seat. Next, financial outlay of about 15,034 rupees crore rupees, and center will be 10,303 crore rupees, and states will provide 4,731 crore rupees. The significance is will boost MBBS capacity and availability of specialist doctors, enables introduction of new specialties in government institutions, strengthens India's healthcare workforce and infrastructure. So current medical education landscape. India has around 808 medical colleges with 1.23 lakh MBBS seats, and it has increased over 143% added, and 22 AIMS under PMSSY serve as tertiary care hubs and training centers in India. So faculty regulations have also been mandated. That is new medical institution, that is faculty regulations or qualifications regulations of 2025 was introduced recently. It adopts competency based inclusive criteria for faculty recruitment to meet rising demand of medical teachers. Okay, so this is about this particular article, which is a good news coming for Indian students who want to pursue medical as their career or medicine as their career. Next, so this is an editorial from the Hindu which talks about India's muted voice, its detachment from Palestine. And the article or editorial is written by none other than Sonia Gandhi. So we'll discuss what is her opinion and what should India do. Historical role. India was once a global moral voice, supporting anti-colonial struggles in South Africa, Algeria, Vietnam, and intervening during the 1971 Bangladesh crisis. She starts up with India's historical role, where India was the balancing power, where India was the voice of the sufferers. Recognized the Palestine Liberation Organization in 1974 and Palestinian statehood in 1988. Consistently backed the two-state solution, supported UN resolutions, and provided aid, education, and healthcare assistance to Palestine while maintaining ties with Israel. Next, current silence. Since the 2023 Hamas attacks, the Israel's military's response in Gaza, India has been largely silent in this regard. Sonia Gandhi calls Israeli actions genocidal, noting 55,000 civilian deaths, including thousands of children, and devastation of Gaza's infrastructure. So, according to her, India of the past would have condemned Israel. India of the past would have supported Palestine. India of the past would have called for treaty, called for peace here. India's government has continued deepening ties with Israel, including a recent investment agreement and hosting Israel's far-right finance minister. So she criticized the Modi government as well. That is, foreign policy is seen as shaped by the personal ties with Israel's leadership rather than India's constitutional values or strategic interest. She warns against personalized diplomacy, which undermines India's long standing global moral authority. So she criticizes the current government that the relationships are mainly because of the personal relations between the Prime Minister Modi and his counterparts in various countries, such as Prime Minister Modi with Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister Modi with Russia's Vladimir Putin. So she calls for relationships which is based on the global moral authority rather than the personal relations. And she also calls for actions. She says that India must treat Palestine not just as a foreign policy but as a test of its ethical and civilizational values. Gandhi argues, that is Sonia Gandhi argues for principled leadership rooted in India's history of opposing oppression and advocating justice. Silence, she insists, amounts to complicity, and India must reclaim its role as a voice of moral clarity on the global stage. That is the argument from opposition leader, that is Sonia Gandhi. A very important article and some good points have been pointed out by Sonia Gandhi as well, but we have to understand the consequences of supporting one country or other country as well. Again, moving on to the next article, which is an editorial, which is very important. That is, follow the rains, not the calendar. Recently, I made a video about the implications of monsoon and how there were 9 people in Calcutta who died not because of drowning, not because of the floods, but died because of electrocution. They died because of electrocution. So that is how ill-equipped India's urban centers are at the moment. So here the article or editorial calls for follow the rains and not the calendar, because the rainfall patterns are changing. The author argues urban flooding in India is worsening due to shifts in rainfall timing, intensity, and duration. Rains are arriving earlier and more erratically. Example Mumbai and Delhi saw extreme downpours in May. 64% of Indian tehsils have recorded an increase in heavy rainfall days, with the floods causing damages of about 8,700 crore per event. The challenge is intensity over the totals. That is, flood risks stem not from just seasonal totals but from short high intensity rainfall bursts. Example, in Thane, in Thane, 1 hour rainfall now reaches 50 millimeters every 2 years, compressing rain into hours rather than days, overwhelming drainage. So that is what happened in Thane. That is what experienced globe like urban floods in the Thane region. And key solutions proposed are, so we have to focus on the intensity or the rainfall pattern which is changing from the previous years. So we cannot follow the calendar. The calendar that rainfall is going to start from May, and it will end continue till July, August, September, and then it will retreat back in October, November. That is not the case now. Now the rainfall is coming earlier, not only earlier, but more intense. So there is higher amount of rainfall that is happening in a shorter amount of period rather than over the long period of time. So key solutions proposed were integrate sub-daily rainfall analysis, that is move beyond the long-term averages. The long-term averages time has gone long, and now the time is to move towards sub-daily rainfall analysis, especially with the climate change context. Use real-time rainfall data for drainage upgrades and citizen alerts. Next example is Mumbai's plan to expand drains to handle 120 millimeter per hour. Previously, it was only 40 millimeter per hour. Now it is increasing to 120 millimeters per hour. So the drainage should be able to absorb rainfall of 120 millimeter per hour as well. Synchronize drain cleaning and waste management. That is, poor coordination between departments worsen flooding. Joint sanitation and drainage operations should be triggered by rainfall alerts. Example, Vijayawada's coordinated monsoon teams reduced waterlogging. Next, update IDF curves and infrastructure regularity. That is, refresh rainfall intensity data every 5 to 10 years. Design drainage with micro catchment hydrology and keep stormwater separate from its sewerage. Example, BMC drafting a new for master drainage plan using the upgraded rainfall trends. That is what all the cities should follow. Next, takeaway is floods are not just about rainfall, but its timing and intensity as well. To build resilience, Indian cities must plan around the rains as they are and not as the calendar assumes. So you have to be upgraded not on a long term average but on a daily basis, so that you can avoid these kind of urban floods and also unfortunate or preventable deaths of innocent citizens like in Calcutta. So that is nothing but a culpable homicide committed by administration. You can avoid this kind of culpable homicide in the future if you are able to address these kind of issues. Next, moving on to the prelims pointers. The first point is communication security certification scheme. We'll see about this scheme, that is communication security certification scheme. NCCS has designed Compliance International Private Limited Noida designated Compliance International Private Limited Noida as a telecom security testing laboratory for testing IP routers under the particular scheme. That is Communication Security Certification Scheme. Next, about the scheme ensures certification of all the telecom equipment under mandatory testing and certification of telecom equipment, initially under the MTCTE rules of 2017, now governed by telecommunications rules of 2025. That is telecommunications framework to notify standards, conformity, assessment and certification rules of 2025, the recent rules. It applies to OEMs, importers, dealers who sell, import or use telecom equipment in India. All these come under, or all these are covered under this particular scheme. It also extends to other telecom hardware, software and systems notified by the government as and when. Next, implementing agency, that is National Center for Communication Security under the Department of Telecommunication. So key components of this scheme is ITSAR development, that is creating Indian Telecom Security Assurance Requirements, that is ITSAR. Indian Telecom Security Assurance Requirements for each type of equipment or telecom equipment, and TSTL designation, that is third party security testing labs that meet the TSTL standards. Next, testing and certification, that is TSTS, the labs conduct tests and NCCS evaluates and certifies the equipment compliance with ITSAR. So very important scheme. The significance is it strengthens the ongoing cyber security and trustworthiness of India's telecom system and ensures secure deployment of telecom infrastructure against the rising digital threats. Next, Subansiri River. So why it is in news? Union Environment Ministry's expert panel has recommended environmental clearance of 2220 megawatt Oju hydroelectric project on the Subansiri River at Taxing near the China border. So what is about Subansiri River? You remember this Oju hydroelectric project. Oju hydroelectric project is a very important project that is being undertaken by the government of India in the border region of India and China. So origin and course. Origin, that is western part of Mount Poram and Kangin Glacier Range, Tibet Himalaya. Flows through Tibet Himachal Pradesh, and Assam before joining the Brahmaputra in Assam's Lakhimpur district. It passes into the plains of Assam through gorge near Gerukamukh. The key features are it is known as Gold River due to its gold dust, right bank tributary of the Brahmaputra, and major tributaries of Subansiri rivers are Laro, Nai, Yume, Sari, Kamala, Jyodhal, and Ranganadi, and sorry, Ranganadi and Dikrom. So very important Subansiri river. And Subansiri river and the confluence of Subansiri river and Brahmaputra river also creates world's largest riverine island, that is Majoli. So this is the right bank tributary Subansiri, and this is the left bank, that is Brahmaputra, where the both rivers confluence, that is the confluence of these rivers results in the formation of an island, a riverine island, which is the world's largest riverine island, which is called as Majoli. Majoli. Okay. So Ojo hydroelectric project. What is this? The location is in Upper Subansiri district, Arunachal Pradesh. Developer is Ojo Subansiri Hydropower Corporation Limited. Capacity 2220 megawatt, and significance is strategically very important near the China border, vital for hydropower generation, ecology, and regional development. And the final article for the day is Sparsh Pension Scheme or system. Latest development is the Spurs system has resolved 5.60 lakh out of 6.36 or 43 lakh legacy pension discrepancies. So 87% of discrepancies have been resolved. Now about Spurs. Spurs full form is System for Pension Administration Raksha, and initiative of the Ministry of Defence India. Important. You might think whenever you talk about insurance, you might think about consumer affairs, you might think about some other finance ministry, but this is the Ministry of Defence initiative. World's largest pension system for defense personnel, very important. First is for defense personnel, covers armed forces like army, navy, air force, as well as defense civilians, very important, covers defense civilians as well. Administration, it is managed by defense accounts department via principal controller of defense accounts pensions Prayagraj. Centralized system handling sanctions, claims, and disbursements without the third party intermediaries. And the key features are web-based platform for transparent pension management, allows self-verification and digital identification, reducing the multiple office visits, maintains complete pension history from commencement to cessation, handles all pension cycle activities like initiation, sanction, disbursement, revision, service, and grievance management. Significance is it ensures efficiency, transparency, and timely pension disbursal, reduces administrative errors and legacy discrepancies simultaneously or significantly, and it also ensures that the persons who are protecting the defense, protecting the borders of India are safeguarded even after the job is done. So this is the article for the day, and this is daily news analysis. If you like the video, if you like, or if you got anything new out of this video, please like the button. Hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with the friends. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any notification. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.